And yeah, there's not a very strong Asian representation, right? Uh, Especially in the female divisions. There are, a few Asian females that are there, and so I'll be one of the few, which is awesome. And I'm sure people don't really think of Hong Kong MMA as like anything, so um, it'll be nice for me to have an opportunity to surprise everyone and make my mark.
Let's just jump into first getting the
Yeah.
call, take us through that moment.
I got a text message from my manager, Daniel Rubenstein, on Thursday night. I was actually in the middle of a call with a friend from back home. So I just saw a flash on my screen. I might have something for you, UFC next weekend, but it's a long shot. I'll let you know. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So as I'm talking to my friend, I'm like messaging the nutritionist and everything, being like, okay, like, what do we need to do? And I actually had like a weekend planned where, I was going to be away and I had to cancel all of that. And then Friday morning came around, and he sent me a text saying that he had my bout agreement and he was going to bring it to the gym. So everything just happened within like a 12-hour period. Um, yeah, it just, it was crazy. And then from then it was like signing the bout agreement, like filling out so much paperwork, um, trying to get all these details and information done because, I guess like all these things that a lot of the other fighters have already sorted out like in advance, like medicals and all that. Like I basically have to like cram and do them as quickly as I can.
It's been a long journey for you, Hong Kong to South Korea to Shanghai to Thailand and then to Las Vegas where you're at right now and getting signed by the UFC. When you look back, you can really be extremely proud of earning this spot. I mean? A lot of people say, I earned this, but really you did, when you look back at it, what you went through.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely relocated a whole bunch of times, really try to figure out the environment that would work best for me and yeah, try to chase every opportunity and stay open-minded.
Yeah, and here we go. Now, you will be the first ever woman fighter from Hong Kong to enter the octagon and compete. You will be making history. Has that set in yet?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've kind of that was kind of like somewhat of a goal of mine, and I kind of knew that there's a big probability it would happen. But yeah, I guess I never really sat to think of like how many other people potentially from Hong Kong would be trying to pursue this as well, in the future. Um, Kind of taking each day, as it comes now, like trying to be in the moment. But yeah, it's definitely very cool.
For people that have doubt, now they don't have doubt. They know that it's possible because you're doing it pretty soon. You'll be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not set up for us, like it wasn't set up for me when I started MMA like 6 years ago. Um, it just wasn't really in the cards, It wasn't like anyone had done it before, and uh, with the resources available in the MMA community over there, and it's just less interest, more focus on other sports, less support and opportunities. So yeah, kind of like an against all odds kind of thing, but it's cool.
It is cool. And you're taking on Nunez on pretty much a week's notice. Thoughts
hmm
on your opponent and what she brings to the table?
I'm really excited because I know she's tough. I know she's a gamer. I know she's aggressive. And I can't wait and that excites me because I can't wait to test myself against that high level competition and use her as a measuring stick. And I think potentially because I'm coming in on a week's notice, like people might not expect much from me, which is fine. But I have a lot to express and a lot to show, and I'm just really excited to do that because I feel super ready.
She actually has only one fight in the UFC. I think, yeah,
hmm
she debuted last year in the summer against Bia Maleki, which, Bia Maleki, she's like really, really tall, pretty big for the division at bantamweight. And Nunez went in there and surprised everybody with a
hmm
knockout. What did you think of how that fight played out and what did you think about her performance?
I thought she capitalized really well. She closed distance. She's very explosive. She go in with that Superman punch. She's a southpaw. I'm a southpaw too, so that changes things up a little bit. Um, and she's just aggressive. She'll kind of just keep going forward, keep pressuring. She'll throw punches and bunches, and it makes for a good show. I think she did a great job. I think a lot of people feel like, the more reach you have, the better it is. But also, you have to understand body types and know that if you have someone in the division, who is shorter, they're definitely packing a lot of power. There's a lot of core strength in there. There's a lot of rotation, and they're always going to find ways to overcome, what they lack in reach. So, didn't make her any less dangerous. I think, yeah, it was anyone's game, and she just, she did great.
Yeah, she did. And you in your last fight, you were getting ready for Courtney King, and then they
Mm.
flipped it on you last minute, and they brought in a short notice opponent. You went in there and you took her out in 1 minute. How helpful will that experience be for you entering like in this fight where you were concentrating on one person and then they flipped it and then you just had to kind of go in there and let your skills take over? Is that what happened in that fight, you think?
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of just trusting in what I already have, what I already know. Um, and because, yeah, I was preparing for, a taller orthodox fighter, and then I got one that was, a little shorter, and then it was a southpaw, and then we had to like look at tape and stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, you can analyze somebody like, and they can come back and like have developed so much. So that's what the sport is. It's all about uncertainties and dealing with unexpected. So I think this is a prime example of that. And you just have to, yeah, trust in yourself and trust that you've done the work. And when you get in there, a fight's a fight, right? You can have analyzed somebody, for hours, but you never really know until you step in there, until you work with them, until you figure them out. People come in with different game plans. So, yeah, it'll be good. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna trust my instincts, and I've got a great corner team with me. So,
That's right. And you're always training. I know you took a little break after your last fight, but then you got back into the gym because you live in Las Vegas, which doesn't give you much choice. You have to be in the gym, right? Because there's
that's
always,
right.
a short notice like you got the opportunity
Yeah,
right now. So,
exactly.
what was your training schedule like when they gave you the call for the fight? Were you in there helping other people get ready for fights?
Yeah, I was hoping to get. I was hoping to get matched up in an event in March, in mid-March. So I was pretty much already in camp, but it would have been like the start of camp. And in some ways, it was more beneficial because at the start of camp, you really push it really hard, and then you kind of start to like taper a little bit towards the end because you're a little burnt out and you're anticipating the weight cut, and all these things are going on in your head. So I think in some ways, short notice fights are kind of great because it's like I had a great training week, and it was a week of like really hard training that I probably wouldn't have hit so hard had I known that I was gonna fight. And so I know I'm in great shape. I know that I can, you know, I can keep up with the volume and the intensity, and all the hard work is done. And like now I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, so now all I gotta do is like cut the weight and figure out a game plan and then get in there. So I mean, I feel great, and I'm in a really good position to do very well.
This fight is at featherweight. Do you see that as
hmm
an advantage for you?
I mean, yeah, for right now because you know there was no way I'd be able to cut down to bantamweight in a week's notice. But yeah, it's definitely nice to kind of ease into it and have this opportunity and have a pretty straightforward weight cut to look forward to. And then yeah, after this, then do the drop.
And the drop, it said in a report that you would go back down to 135 after this
Mhm.
fight, and
Mhm.
we've seen you make 135, so it's not like it's a problem. It just need
Mhm.
a little time for you to cut it down,
Exactly.
right?
Need
So
like a can yeah.
you need a camp, right? But that's the
Mhm.
weight that you want to be at, 135. You want to chase the gold at that weight.
Yeah, well, I mean, UFC from what I hear is trying to phase out the 145 division, right? So, You don't really have a choice in the matter if you want to fight in the UFC. And also, there's just a lot more talent in the 35 division, than the 45. I mean, they're just more girls, so it makes more sense. It definitely it's a more competitive division.
For the people that probably have never seen you compete, I mean, some people only watch the UFC. They don't watch no other promotion, no other,
Sure.
league, anything. So,
Yeah.
what can they expect out of you if they're watching this interview for the first time and anticipating your debut?
I mean, I'm probably going to surprise a lot of people, I think. Um, yeah, you kind of just like never know. People coming. I mean, you assume that people are going to be good when they come into UFC, right? But also like the sports evolved so much, and I've you know moved to so many different places just to get the level of training that I need. Um, and Yeah, there's not a very strong Asian representation, right? Uh, Especially in the female divisions. There are a few Asian females that are there, and so I'll be one of the few, which is awesome. And I'm sure people don't really think of Hong Kong MMA as like anything, so um, it'll be nice for me to have an opportunity to surprise everyone and make my mark.
And you have your teammate fighting on the same night.
Hmm.
So that's kind of good too, right? Having somebody with, on the journey with you, I guess, during fight week.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm seeing her go through camp, and she's like grinding really hard, and it's just really cool to be able to share that night with her.
Definitely. A few more questions before I let you go. This
Sure.
one is about MMA fans. Some of them can be the best, some of them can be the worst. What do you think MMA fans obsess about too much that fighters really don't care about?
That's a good question. Um, wow, that's a tough one to. What do they care about? The fighters don't care about. I mean, I would say probably outcome. I mean, not that fighters don't care about outcome. Obviously, you do, but the fans also don't know the circumstances. They don't know if what kind of injuries. They don't know what kind of personal issues, or they don't know what went into a camp, what people are going through. And I think it's just really easy to judge somebody based on their, most recent performance. And I think that's what fans kind of they'll jump on the bandwagon when you're doing really well, and then when you're not, it's like they like move on to someone else. So yeah, just it's like for me to be able to see like one of my teammates, go through camp, like I understand what they're going through. I understand how hard they've worked, or like things that have come up. And so for me, it's kind of like if I know that they're doing their best, like that's good enough for me, with for your teammates. But I guess for the fans, it's kind of like, nah, you gotta win. I mean, not all of them. I wouldn't say all of them, but I would say maybe that's one thing.
PTSD in combat sports, not CT, but PTSD from like maybe injuries or bad weight cuts, losses, even damage, taken in a fight. Have you experienced this and overcame it in the past, or have you seen this in other fighters?
Yeah, I guess if you've tried to cut down to a weight that's just way lower than you should be at, and then you have this like bounce back and this like rebound, and then as especially with females too, like your hormones will get messed up, or like your metabolism, things like that. I can understand that. Yeah, I think bad weight cuts would definitely create some PTSD, especially if they were done the wrong way, or yeah, like you said, injuries and losses. And it's like you can be in the gym and you'll remember the exact move that made you blow out your knee, like me, for example. It's like I don't like doing that, even though it's like it's all like a mental block so yeah, it's definitely a real thing, but I think there's also a lot of ways to just work through it, having the right teammates around you, the right environment, a safe environment, as safe as it can be and as controlled as it can be. Um, and that, yeah, losses, will stay with you, and it really is up to the individual, like how they decide to work through it and overcome it.
All right, one last question. Kevin Lee, he was released by the UFC. He gets signed by Eagle FC. He is going to get paid in crypto. What is your take on cryptocurrency, and would you ever consider getting your fight purse paid in it?
I am not on that bandwagon, unfortunately, so I probably would be the wrong person to ask about that question. I think it's interesting, I think it's like cool and like kind of this like kind of riding on the coattails of like, popular kind of idea. It'll be interesting to see how that works out, I think it's like exciting right now. Who knows how it's gonna go, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe in the future.
For sure. February 26th, this weekend,
That's right.
Las Vegas. You make your UFC debut, Ramona. I'm so happy for you, you know what I mean, following your career and finally getting, the next step, the finally accomplishing one of the goals of your career. It's just unbelievable, to watch it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, oh, I mean, thank you. Thank you for, I don't know, when was the first time we got to talk? 2016?
Something like that.
27,
Yeah.
2017, I think it was. Yeah, literally the very beginning of my career.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to like get to catch up with you and like do these because, yeah, it's a good opportunity for me to reflect as well.